Welcome into our In the Money podcast for Saturday, October 29th, closing day of the Keeneland Fall Meet. And that means the Hagyard Fayette Grade 2 for 3-year-olds and up going 1 mile and an eighth is the feature. Tom Leach here along with Keeneland's Director of Mutuals and Simulcasting, Jim Goodman, and the Halloween weekend closing day card. And some nice betting races here, it looks like. Let's start in the Fayette, Jim, in the 9th race. Who did you like?
We might see the Headless Horseman out at Keeneland this weekend.
I think that usually does happen.
They seem to crank that guy out every year.
Saturday mornings, it's a big part of the fun for all the families. So you can see all the details at Keeneland.com. But, yeah, that is always a highlight.
It's really kind of strange looking, especially if it's misty on the track. I came out the first day I ever worked there about 11 years ago, and I hear this eerie music, and I see this horseman riding down the track with no head. It's kind of weird, but it's kind of cool too. One of the many things we do at Keeneland for kids. The Hagyard Fayette, we didn't think it was going to come up really strong, but it came up as a nice race. I think there's a lot of ways you can go in here. I settled on Noble Bird, Grade 1 winner, obviously back class, but obviously not where he was this time last year. Last year he won the Pimlico Special in the spring, and he hasn't done anything well since he ran the Met Mile against Frosted. Nobody's going to get Frosted that day. Came back and ran the Whitney against Frosted. Nobody's going to beat him that day. And then he won the Lucas Classic, so he's back to the level that he should be running at. He's not going to beat Grade 1 horses now, but he did have a Grade 1. He won the Stephen Foster last year. So back class makes me go with Noble Bird, gets Le Peru. I don't know that he completely outclasses the field, however. I think Iron Fist for Asmussen is getting better right now. Almost won the ACAC in October at Churchill. Hawakam for Wesley Hawley and Miguel Mena is always consistent. Was coming at the end in the Churchill race, the Lucas Classic that Noble Bird won. So I think if you like Noble Bird, you got to like him. Kazwaki hasn't run on the dirt in a long time. At the beginning of his career in Argentina, so even though he would be probably the pick on turf, I don't know if he's going to be the pick on dirt. And Prayer for Relief is an interesting horse who was on the in the Breeders' Cup Classic a few years ago, and Clark Handicap, and then they shipped him over to Dubai, and he comes back. He's been off since March, so he's a question mark. I'm going to go with Noble Bird, but Hawakam, Iron Fist, and Kazaki, if he takes to the turf, would be my underneath picks. But Noble Bird would be my pick on top of 2 horse.
I like the 3 a good bit in here. Kazaki really working lights out on the dirt here at Keeneland, so that gives me confidence. And it's been a while since he ran on dirt, but he did have a runner-up finish on it down in South America. And boy, he's really kept good company, albeit on turf. The Shadwell Turf Miles are Grade 1. Before that, the Arlington Million, and he's run very competitively in those races. So dropping out of those races, I think he may find this a softer spot. Concern is if nobody goes with Noble Bird and he just controls it. So I think one of those 2 wins it for me. I'm just going to go too deep in this race in the pick 4, but I'm going to try for a little better price with the 3 horse. Pick 4 starts in the 7th race. And I started it out. I liked My 4 Funds, but I didn't think there was a standout in here. So I'm going to go 4 deep with Dominant Class, No Lack of Talent, and Flashy Julia, 1, 3, 4, 6. 8th race, I'm going to try DD Birdie, maybe a little bit of a price. It's working really well for a trainer who can get one ready off a layoff, and I like her speed. Salama, I think, can run a much better race than she did last time at Kentucky Downs. La Piba, the 5 horse I want, and also Walk the Kitten, the 7, coming off a nice allowance win. And 3 and 9 were others I wrote down in there, but trying to keep the ticket more manageable. So I'm going to go with 4 in there, just the 2 in the Fayette. And then in the last race, I like Homespun Hero a lot off that strong win on the track. And this is a non-winner, so one other than, and this horse has 3 wins because of the claiming victories. But I thought Unbridled Outlaw was real impressive last time, and a good race over the track. So I'm going to use the 4 and the 9. So 4 by 4 by 2 by 2 for me. How about you?
We're different again. the early leg, I like a couple of horses that you like, but I also picked up a couple that you didn't mention. Going 4 deep here with No Lack of Talent. Wesley Ward's had a brutal meet. He's got 5 seconds and 2/3, and only 1 win out of 18 going into Thursday's card. So he's due, and he's got a first-time starter that should be ready to go. He gets 2-year-old fillies ready almost every time. Whispering Dancer for Sally Shue, a really unknown but underrated trainer, has a great workout last time out at Keeneland. The 7 Pretend for John Walls has a couple of races at Indiana. The Indiana horses have been doing fairly well here. And Hippolyte for Ben Colebrook is the first-time starter with Jimmy Graham, another good workout here at Keeneland on October 20th. So I'm going to go 4, 5, 7, 8 there. I'm going to go Salama, the horse that you liked in the 8th race, along with Walking the Kitten. I think this is the 2-horse race. I like to take a stand there with those two. Salama has a key angle that I like in a race where it's one of those that's either or as far as conditions, and this horse has 5 wins. The rest of the horses here only have 2 wins, and they get in because it's a non-winner of 3 or other conditions that Salama fits. So I like the horse that has 5 wins, even though they came overseas, obviously, but he likes to win. So I'm going to take her as one of the choices here, along with the obvious Ramsey horse. So 1-7 there, 1, 2, 3, 7, Hawakam, Noble Bird, Kasaki. Is that the one? Is that what you
I think
pronounce
that's the way I've heard Kurt pronounce it.
Kasaki. Well, he's right, I'm sure. So I'm gonna put him in there along with Iron Fist. So 1, 2, 3, 7. Then I'm gonna single the last leg, last race of the meet with Eklos. Kieran McLaughlin brings this horse here from Saratoga. Ran behind Silver Ride last time out, almost won. Had a lot of trouble, stumbled on the break, and got up and almost won that race at 7 furlongs. I love horses that have run 7 furlongs and have come close. So Eklos is my single in the last leg. 4, 5, 7, 8 with 1-7 with 1, 2, 3, 7 with 2, and I can't believe it's all over.
Yeah, it's just always does. It flies by. Now, next week, want to remind folks we'll have expanded podcasts for the Breeders' Cup for both days. And if you're in the Lexington market, remember that the Breeders' Cup wagering will be conducted at the Red Mile and not at Keeneland this year. It'll be at the Red Mile and opens at 8 both days. Best of luck with your Saturday wagers. For Jim Goodman, I'm Tom Leach, and this is the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.